Welcome to the Strategic Oracle, another episode for this podcast. I believe you're on episode 265. Can't even believe it. So here I want to talk about the signs and the signals that you're receiving in life. So what does it mean? It means that your intuition has been whispering or nudging or giving you inklings. And now it seems like all of a sudden things are super, super obvious. Like you might have that conversation with somebody, a book may fall down like right in front of you and open to this page, or you might be, walking down the street and noticing a billboard or something like that. So it's evident in the world. Why? It's evident in the world because we've just moved out of a 3-year intensive time where we had every reason not to take action. We had every reason for delusion and self-aggrandizing and dreaming and imagining and creating, which felt really, really good, but it also felt super, super frustrating because it felt like there was something hanging in the balance. It felt like there was going to be that other shoe to drop or the anvil or the sky to kind of fall down, right? That was really the pressure of the planets coming together because they don't just come together on one day. They come together over the course of many months and weeks. And so here we are at the time where things are super, super, super evident. There isn't a more evident sign than Aries, because Aries is the coming to life. It is that opening of your eyes. It's that first initial, I guess that's the same word, right? It's that initial moment where you have that insight, that epiphany, that flash of awareness. And because it's that initiation, it is so incredibly obvious because it is different than what it was before. And so here we are in that difference. So I've been asking people to notice the signs, literally to say, what conversations have you been having? What patterns are you seeing? What triggers are more impactful now? Where is your emotional wave and how are your biorhythms being either affected in a positive way or impacted in a negative way? And so here I am. I must take my own medicine. I must follow the guidance because integrity is my number one thing. And I wouldn't have integrity if I didn't do what I said. So the signs have been indicating for some time now that I must take a hiatus on this podcast. So collective breath. Okay, we're good. We're good because guess what? Dun, 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 this just in. I am starting a Substack account. So what's been happening over the last handful of months for me is that the podcast has been something that has taking me to different places that I didn't think I was going to go. It was something I was reluctant to do. It was something that I had no idea I'd be passionate about. It was something that I was, really holding off for 2 years, I think, before I said yes to do it. And now here we are within about, I think it's been a little over 2 years, maybe 2 years and a quarter, I think. We're on episode 265. So clearly I dove right in and splashed around and said yes to the yes on this. Well, Substack, since it's been longer than this, but it's been really pressing since about October. In about October, my team has been talking about it for months before that. We stirred it before the New Era Millionaire book came out. I was contemplating maybe dancing with it, but I was only going to dip my toe. Why was I only going to dip my toe? I was only going to dip my toe because, and those of you who have so many platforms, we can all identify with this. Well, let's see, shall we? We have our own email list. We've got LinkedIn. We've got maybe a podcast. We've got a blog potentially. Maybe we write for other media features, or maybe we're in other people's groups. We have the socials that we're managing. So think about just the array of places that we are, and then to add one more thing. Honestly, it just felt like a big weight. And so what I did was I said, you know what? I am going to throw it out to the universe and I am going to wonder, because that's what I end up doing. And this is what I talk to a lot of people about doing. This is my one of my best pieces of advice. If you're contemplating something, a lot of times we want to seek answers. Our minds are like, okay, let's find out all the things. Let's research it. Let's talk to people. Let's get the definitive on this. That can be part of it, but that's not all of it. So it doesn't matter in what order you do this at all. You know yourself the best. What matters is that you also give yourself permission to ask questions and to let things sit and marinate and to let your own emotional wave kind of cycle through your own biorhythms, give you answers, let your body speak, let your intuition have enough space to give you the nudges. And so it's not ironic that here I am saying yes to it in a very bold, big way right after we have this blast of awareness from Aries, right? So the reason why I'm sharing all of this is obviously because I'm going to be inviting you to Substack to become, a founding member with me, but also to talk about the absolute excitement that I have. Like, I am rabid about this platform. So as I was wondering, things were coming up. I talked to a wonderful woman back in the fall that she's a PR person, and I only had one conversation with her. But I purchased her time because I met her at an event, and I knew she had something for me, and I wasn't sure what it was. And so I said, okay, I'll hop on a 45-minute call or something, right? And what came out of my mouth was surprising to me. She asked me, what was your number one goal? Is it, client acquisition? Is it, credibility building, or is it community awareness? And I said community awareness. Now, you guys know me. Yes, community, not yes to community, right? Love to be part of other people's communities because I love the freedom of being able to go in. Somebody else has curated the community. They've created the space for people, and they've gone probably broad if there are lots of people there. I'm not a go wide person. Like, that my energy doesn't work that way. I love to create community that's really intimate and really small. Right? That's what I love to do, really super deep. And so community awareness, when I'm talking to a PR person, are you kidding me right now? Like, what is that? Like, what is happening? And so I just left it. We had a full 45-minute conversation. I dutifully took notes. She did some follow-on for me. Great. I then immediately put it into a folder because I was like, I don't even know what to do with this. So tuck that away. Here we go. In November, we did a big push of exploring Substack. But if you think about the timing for me, we had the forecast coming up. We had, just a lot of things that I was like, and the podcast was still running beautifully and all of that. And we were starting to do podcasting, and it just didn't seem like it was in rhythm, right? Okay, so I abandoned that. I say no. My Gen Z team is not happy with me, and I say, well, I wonder if this is a thing. I wonder if I have enough energy. I wonder if I want to build something brand new. I don't know. And then everybody can laugh at this because this is terrible, horrifying, yuck. What was coming to me in my, just kind of walking and whatever. Now, fairness to me, it was like blizzardy and 7 degrees and wind chill factor of like -0. Not that I was outside, but you didn't want to go outside. So I don't know how expansive my mind was or my intuition was really coming through, because I don't think so. Because I started exploring reopening my Facebook group, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I freaking adored my Facebook group when I had it, but it went with the times, right? Like, everybody was on Facebook. Everybody, hopped into groups. The notification worked on it. Like, it just was in the moment, and it was totally great. But as I was doing that and realizing, like, oh, I don't want to do this, it just felt I can't even say the word was heavy. It just felt wretched going back. Like, it felt very much like taking a step back. And we know that Aquarius is up and up, in our faces, and Uranus is all about this year. And we're building the threshold for the masses for next year. And like, we just know that there's massive forward movement, right? Like, I cannot snap my fingers fast enough to say how the energies are going to move. Backward doesn't work with that. But yet, that's informative, right? Because then I started remembering. I started remembering how much I flipping adored being in the group and talking and laughing and having fun and inviting people to do lives with me and having the chat go and Captain Distraction over here, like I'm channeling something and then like, oh wait, look, there's a chat, right? And being able to just, I'm an intuitive visionary, right? So being able to juggle all those things. And I have to say it was so much richer because, here I am in, whatever's downloading and what have you, and I still have that ability to make it really deep and maybe make it really expansive. And I do have small group and I do have one-on-one clients, but I have to say the juiciness of that is so incredible because then when I am by myself, I have more of an opening. And then I can go back and it's just that sharing and that weaving that makes it like PFM, right? Like pure effing magic. And so I was remembering like flipping going into Facebook and just having like 25 people show up or 100 people show up and the conversation was whatever it was. I'd get a download like and it was to be like, okay, go. And I'm like, okay, I've got 20 minutes. I'll pop in and we'll have a conversation. So the community aspect was something I absolutely adored and forgot about. So if you think about it, someplace like a Substack, they have provided the entire platform. All you have to do is show up. Now, granted, curating community is on you, right? Like 100%, but I'm yearning for that. So interesting, right? So there's a sign. Another sign is, I'll be honest with you guys, my podcast producer has gotten another job. Like we're super thrilled for him. Like he is in his lane and he's doing all the things and it's amazing. I don't have a podcast producer. So I've been opening up. We did a ton of episodes. So I've been just kind of skating, seeing what's going to happen, what's going to come. I've been doing these interviews. I was then thinking of going on YouTube. And then I've gotten the press of like, don't even go on YouTube. That has never been your platform. And I've been like, I wonder, like, I wonder, right? Like, so that's my thing. I wonder. And when you're in a state of wonder, you don't have a preconceived notion. So I didn't say yes to Substack. I didn't say no to the podcast. I didn't say yes or no to the blog or yes or no to LinkedIn, or I didn't say any of those things. I just let things just be open to see what was going to happen. And then I have to say, in the last 2 weeks, it is 1,000,000% obvious that this is the right thing to do. So we are going through the process of creating and curating a space for community. So it is community and self-discovery. So I think we've done a really good job for the podcast for self-discovery, but there's no community in podcast. And we know that. I don't have a community anywhere, right? So it's just not something that I have. I'm in other people's groups and I love them, but I don't have our own space where we can come together. So I do in my small group program for rich and powerful leaders. And oh my God, I freaking love that. And everybody loves that. It's just awesome. But I like to keep that really small so we can go really deep, but getting to that broader sense. So community is the main driver. I'll be honest with you. That's the main driver. We know I've got tons of content. We know that I'm going to write long form because that's my jam, right? We know that we're going to do some story because I also love to write story. We know we're going to do things just from a subject matter perspective. It's all around making brilliant decisions, really engaging with powerful connections, and then making big money. So yes, is everything based on the know, like, trust format? Always, like never going to change. What we're going to do is we're going to tuck things in to have them be more obvious. Well, here we are in Aries time, right? We have been in Piscean time where things are more fuzzy. For me, I can obfuscate, try not to, but in crystal clarity moment with the fire of Aries, it has become so incredibly clear that when we talk about brilliant decisions, that's where we talk about things like calming your mind and creating space for your intuition and clarifying your vision and really being purposeful about your intuition. Practical too. When we talk about powerful connections, I'll be honest with you, we're tucking in the cosmic guidance. We're not going to give that up, but it's not going to be so incredibly like starting off, here are the stars, everything's around the stars. And then, oh, by the way, we've got some information for you. We're going to flip it. We're going to be like, here's all the relevant information. Oh, by the way, here's the stars. That's just my jam. People ask me, do you want to teach astrology? And I say no. And yet I'm super clear about that, but not quite clear how to deliver the message about the stars. So gaining more crystallization of that, if you will. And then when we talk about aligned energies, of course, I'm going to be doing that because alignment is the key right now. So we are going to be talking about the chakra system, probably. We're going to be talking about the signatures, definitely. We're going to be talking about utilizing the resources that are available, whether they be like an HBR article, or a leadership, a diagnostic, or a really yummy universal law connection that we can, go with cause and effect for something, or do this beautiful connective webbing. We're also going to be talking about balanced flow. The new era is here. I don't have to be so front facing about that either because people have gotten up to speed on that. So we can talk about that divine feminine, divine masculine, and how you have that gorgeous unity. And when you're in the flow of that, you're doing things simultaneously on the inner life and in the outer world. Delicious. And then big money. Yes. We almost call this money, 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 right? I have to sing money, money, money. When you just say and you read money, 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 I don't know if you're going to get it, right? So money, 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 that has to happen, right? We're going to be talking about choices, the thrive choices. We're going to be talking about, getting rid of lack, removing blocks. We're going to be talking about that subconscious element that you want to, kind of re-engineer and rewire. You want to create miracles, right? So we can do that. That precise action is so incredibly important. We don't want to waste time or energy or effort. We don't want to waste any money either, by the way. And then we're going to have an entire section on money makers. So you can, and if you, let me just pause on the money makers just for a hot second. Yeah, money makers. Of course, we're going to go into like money guides and things, but we also are going into here are 3 steps for it. Here's what you want to look at if you're looking at profits. Here's what you want to look at if you're looking at top line. Oh, you want a quick sale? Here you go. If you're, kind of taking way too much time on the whole edutainment world, but not getting clients, we're going to talk about that. I am really sick and tired. If you've been following me for a while, I am so sick and tired of people not making money. Like, let's not have that happen. So we're going to be talking about that. So if you think about it, if you've been with me a while, you kind of widen the lens and you say, okay, what's the footing? It's the know, like, trust. Where are the stars and the signatures and the strategies woven all through? Where is that right direction, right people, right action? Ooh, just talked about that in really practical ways. Where is the power is where energy meets action. Oh, all over the place. Where is the new era millionaire? Right here baked in. I feel that Substack gives us enough depth and gives us enough space and to have a container, again, for self-discovery. So if you want to dip your toe in and say, you know what, I loved the format of the podcast. I love to be able to just take something away and be able to listen to it or read it on my own time. Yes. And I really don't want to become engaged with anybody else because guess what? That's not my jam right now. Perfect. On the other hand, if you're like, I have got so many ways that I want to ask questions, I want to be part of the conversation. Not understanding something or the ability to apply something. I don't really get it. I want to be able to be part of the Q&A or the back and forth of like, gee, what did you mean when you said this? Or why do I care about that? Perfect. If, on the other hand, you're like, you know what, I want to be part of the conversation, not just like the receiver of it. I want to be actually on the stage and I want to be, like restacking things. But even more than that, I want to go on a live. I want to be part of the speaking and the information here. That's also a yes. So I am thrilled with this. You're hearing it here. I can't, one of the first, right? So I'll be doing obviously a whole campaign about Substack, and this is where we are. We are going to be relieving things. We're going to be relieving things. I, I'm 100% on YouTube. I'm 99% sure of that. A lot on LinkedIn. We're going to do more conversations and connections over there. We are doing Insta because we're having a blast. So Insta stays the way it is. Facebook kind of is an offshoot of Insta. So that's going to be here. Email, question mark. So I'll be honest with you, email's a question mark. We're going to see. We'll have some very light campaign. Let's be perfectly honest. I send like 3 emails a month, so not a big deal. We'll still have if you come in under a certain thing, or if we do a new guide or something like that, we'll definitely have some messaging around that. But really, honestly, it's going to be Substack all day long. I'm looking at it as it being the hub because I've heard from so many of you, wait, you're writing for this, you're writing for that, you're writing for this. I don't know where I'm going to find something. Oh, wait a minute. I thought this was here, but now I don't know where it is. One place. We're gonna do the beautiful curation, the beautiful cataloging, the beautiful tagging so that you can find things. And we're gonna be around to do a start here. We're gonna be giving some pointers about like, guess what? Like you really want to go over here. And so that is my promise to you. Self-discovery and community to the nth degree. And it is the place where you make brilliant decisions, powerful connections, and big money. So I have simply adored doing this podcast. I don't know if this is a swan song. I know it is for right now. So as always, deep, 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 huge gratitude. I hope to see you inside Substack, and happy soul tidings.